What's up, everybody? It's Caymus with HTC Esports. I'm here with Team Liquid PUBG. I've got Hayz and Scoom next to me. And yeah, let's get right into it. Oakland just ended. You guys didn't finish probably where you wanted to, came out in 12th.
Yeah.
I guess let's talk about just your performances individually. How do you feel you performed individually before we get into your team? So I guess I'll start with you. What do you feel, how do you feel overall?
Overall, I felt like I played better than the placements actually say. I think, well, I can speak for all of us when I think we played better than it actually tells us, than the leaderboard says. So yeah, I just got to work on our issues and hope for the next one, really. Yeah.
Yeah, it's more or less the same with him. We had unfortunate circumstances in almost every game that we normally don't have online, and just put us on the back foot every single game, and it's really tough. But apart from that, we made good rotations. Our strat was on point. It's just unfortunately, you know, like losing a player early or not having vehicles is a big hit. We did manage to win the first game of today, which was a massive boost. Like, at least we won one game. Even though we ended up 10th place overall, at least we ended up with a win with the chicken dinner, so we are happy with that at least. But you know, we didn't perform as well as we wanted to.
Yeah, actually, let's talk about that game, because you guys actually started off that exchange. In the middle of that game, you guys had a crazy quad kill exchange, and you were not in the best position to start it out, and you clutched it. Who, I guess, like, is communicating things in game when you're in a situation like that? Is there somebody that calls shots for you guys, or are you guys all working together? Like, when you're in a high-pressure situation, who's the main voice?
Normally, I'm the shot caller. Myself and Ollie in high-pressure situations are the ones that normally call, but I'm like the final guy. Like, if we have to do something, or if we have two different opinions, I'm the one that just goes with one. Yeah, I make the decision.
Sweet.
Yeah, that game that we won, we decided to do like a 2-2 split, just because we knew. We were initially at the barn, so we were kind of centered, and then it shifted a little bit west, and we know a spot in the fields of Zaki that we really like, but we were kind of safe at the barn, so we didn't really want to all of us go, and we didn't really want all of us stay, so we did like a 2-2 split. Unfortunately, they got pushed by another team, and it ended up with me and Moleman, but we ended up clutching. I think it was a 2v3 at the end, which was pretty nice. Obviously, I ended up with 8 kills, so that felt good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. I guess talking about strategy, you like to do a couple different things, but is there a specific place that when you drop, or when the game goes off before you know where you're going to drop, is there a specific place you already have in mind, or do you kind of play around the same, like we have these goals in mind, we want to go here, but if we can't, then we'll do this, or is there always a place you want to go?
Yeah, I think we always have our default strategy, which is usually around sort of East Rozhok, around those areas, and then obviously we have players going to shelter. And I guess we have plan Bs if we get contested in our normal areas. We just have to figure it out there and then, I suppose. Yeah.
Do you prefer to play in that split style, or do you like grouping up?
I mean, when you're looting, splitting up is kind of safe, because no one wants to fight early, so no one's gonna like commit on something, and the circle still hasn't popped up, so people don't tend to fight. So we drop at the east of Rozhok and shelter like a 2-2 split, just because we want to have fast vehicles, and the east of Rozhok has a lot of vehicles, so we want to rotate as soon as possible when the circle comes up. So we like just looting a little bit and getting cars, and whilst the guys in the shelter, shelter is obviously a little bit better loot, so they're the ones that normally come out with better loot when we come with more vehicles, so we try to like balance it out when we do that.
So you just make a trade for what can you get and what works best at the moment.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, so I guess there's been a little bit of debate around you know, the whole test server and vaulting and removing crouch jump, but then there's new scopes with variable zoom, so there's some things that are hit, some things that are miss. For you guys on the test server, what's hit or miss for you?
We haven't managed to play too much on the test server, because we were doing the boot camp and we wanted to practice on the real server. We didn't really want to mess around. We did like play a couple of games. First glance, like it seemed like the FPS optimization did help. We didn't mess around with zooms. I don't know about you guys, but I didn't really get to see the zoom. I feel like that kind of is not really a feature that was too needed. I guess it's cool, but it doesn't change anything in my opinion. Like, it goes from 8x to 4x, it's okay. The vaulting, like, I personally didn't want it to be implemented, because I feel like the vaulting kind of neglects the skill of like the crouch jump, right? Not everyone could do the crouch jump or like land it 100%, so it became kind of like a skill, right? Even though it wasn't intended, it became a skill. And when they reduce that and then just add vaults to everything and cancel the crouch jump, I just feel like it just nerfed a little bit of that skill, like the that aspect, but obviously it does introduce more spots you can actually jump. It does introduce breaching will be easier now because there's more angles you can jump through windows. So that will be interesting to see, I guess. Yeah, apart from that.
Yeah.
So did you notice any difference today then? There was some players that I've talked to that were saying that the computers are good, but that the game's still not great on LAN. Is that what it felt like to you as well?
Like the PCs seem good, they seem great, but not optimized for gaming, like just pure gaming. Like they have, I think it was a i9 10-core CPU with quite a low clock speed on the cores. So generally with gaming, you want like a 4-core high clock speed, like generally over like 4.5 gigahertz to do well. This had like I think 3.3 or something with 10 cores, and that just doesn't help. I mean, it had a 1080, which is good as well, but it's just I don't know. It's more the game optimization.
Yeah. The PCs didn't have much to do with it.
Yeah. No. It was more the game optimization.
They said that the LAN build was going to be really great, but it was the same issues we have online to LAN. Like it was like whenever rotations come about and there was a lot of people in a small circle, it was just super laggy. Like the same as we get online, unfortunately. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I guess that's the #1 priority.
Yeah, for sure.
Competitive PUBG.
Yeah. They need to. I feel like they need to revamp vehicles, and I think I saw them tweeting about that they're going to completely revamp vehicles because the vehicles right now are one of the major issues on the optimization on the issues. So,
what would you want to see changed from that? More vehicles, or just less randomness, or?
The thing about vehicles, I'm not a big fan of vehicles, just because it just becomes every time a circle shifts, it becomes a shit fest of a lot of vehicles driving around. But it is right now the key factor to RNG, like reducing RNG, because when a circle shifts really far away from you, if you don't have a vehicle, you're kind of screwed. But if you have a vehicle, you can rotate, you can move fast. So I like the car meta, I don't mind it. It's just the issue of the lag that it brings behind it.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about the current settings that the LANs are using for PUBG competitive versus what online leagues are using, 64 players and things like that? Do you prefer the LAN settings or do you prefer the online settings? And do you think it'll start moving towards 64 players in the future, or keep it at that 80 number for more team participants?
I think they want to try and reduce the number of players. I think so. Like 16 teams is generally optimal. I think with 64 players. But I think the 1.5 times AR is also really good. Although I kind of got unlucky in both days. I didn't find any ARs in like 2 compounds, and it was pretty bad. Not like it was online, which is strange. But well. Yeah, I think the settings compared to like the leagues and stuff that we have online is pretty much the same.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same. Except for the players. Online it's 16 to 18 players, whilst here was just 20. In my opinion with that is, I feel like the map overall is an issue. I feel like in the future, if they want to make this proper competitive, it needs a map made for competitive mode. It needs, I feel like, 12 to 16 teams. If you have too many teams, it's too hard to like follow around the stories and capturing all the teams, right? So I feel like it needs to be cut down a little bit. Also, like the way normal servers are, like the default servers are casual games, right? I feel like that's a huge difference to competitive play. Like in other games, they're kind of similar, right? The formats of normal games to competitive, but I feel like in PUBG there's a big difference. And I believe that they have to either split it or make like a casual and a ranked mode where they're completely different. So the ranked mode can again go to these LAN events or these tournaments where they have the set structure, right? But I feel like that's the way going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Because as it stands, it's just you get an FPP and you play. So you think there should be like a hardcore option or something like that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You mentioned you were talking about how the players are different, but also, do you think the circle should be changed at all? The speed?
Yeah, for sure.
Or maybe not just speed. Do you think the randomness is too high right now early?
Right now the circles kind of bounce a lot. I feel like the early circles is fine, like you can have a lot of bouncing around just because it's big and you have a lot of movement and you're not like clustered in. But I believe like mid to late game, the circles should be more centralized as it goes. Because when you get a center spot, you shouldn't be, like everyone kind of should be fighting for that center spot. But right now what you get is like it just goes far east and then you're center, then it goes far north, and it bounces so much that it just becomes more RNG than more like skill or like planning ahead kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so I guess, do you guys have anything else to say to your fans? Say to what's going on in the future and what are you looking at going forward?
I guess thanks to everyone that's supporting us at the events, stuff like that. Everyone that's on Twitter, thank you guys. Thank you, seriously.
Yeah, same. Thanks to all our fans. Unfortunately, we did not perform as well as we wanted to for you guys. We ended up 10th place, but we ended up with a win, and I appreciate everyone that supported us. Also, our sponsors, Alienware, Razer, HTC Esports, Monster Energy. What else do we have?
HyperX as well.
HyperX as well.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you guys for your time.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you.
And you can check us out on YouTube for more of our awesome HTC esports and PUBG content.